woman who forced the darkness to speak. In the very heart of the United States, where the horizons seem endless and the roads map out destiny, there lived a girl named Mary Brooks. Her black, wavy hair flowed down to her shoulders like a midnight shadow, and her large green eyes, deep as emerald lakes, glowed even on the darkest days. People didn't just notice her, they felt her presence. She seemed to radiate light from within, as if her soul were woven from starlight. But beneath that exterior beauty lay a fragile soul that had prematurely known the sharp pain of loss. At 17, her world came crashing down. After a terrible, unexplained car accident, her sight began to fade like a candle in the wind. First, faint, ghostly outlines. Then, blurry shadows that danced on the edge of reality. And then, the world turned into a thick, relentless darkness. The pain was physical, but the spiritual anguish was unbearable. To lose the ability to see the faces of loved ones, the beauty of the sky, her own hands. Mary didn't just fight, she went to war. Every month, with an iron will, she visited ophthalmologists, battling for every tiny ray of light, as if holding on to the last spark of life, knowing that to lose it would be to finally vanish. Mary grew up with a sense of high purpose, walking the path once chosen by her mother, Ellen. Ellen was a top-tier attorney, an uncompromising fighter for truth in the legal department of a major defense corporation. Mary only knew fragments of her stories, but she felt it wasn't just a profession. It was a calling. Serving the truth was part of her destiny, and this belief was the only thing giving her strength to overcome the pain. One autumn day, returning from yet another disappointing checkup in Kansas City, Mary stopped at the bus station. A cold, monotonous rain hammered on the roof, and the city was drowning in a gray, hopeless gloom, perfectly mirroring her inner state. "Need a hand?" A low, confident, yet slightly broken voice sounded nearby. She turned carefully, feeling the warmth of his proximity. He was a tall man with broad, reliable shoulders, with dark brown eyes that shone with some internal, deeply hidden calm and strength. This was John Blake, a soldier who had just returned from a prolonged mission, desperately trying to leave the past behind. They walked together toward the stop. They exchanged brief, trivial words about the rain and the city, but a special, invisible bond was already swirling between them, needing no explanation. The next day, at a small, cozy coffee shop, they met again, and so it went, day after day. John didn't just show up. He brought her favorite cinnamon latte, the warmth of which soothed her soul. He joked when Mary struggled to breathe under the weight of dark thoughts, and he listened so attentively, as if he sought not just to hear, but to understand every thought, every slightest movement of her soul. He never talked about his past. Only once, when the evening was especially quiet and full of trust, he whispered softly, his voice trembling, "When I came back, I just wanted to leave it all behind. I'm terrified, Mary, that one day it will come back for me. And then I won't be able to protect you." Mary didn't dwell on it then, but her heart clenched. It wasn't just fear. It was a terrible, sticky premonition. She loved him with all her heart, like no one before. And then, one evening, as autumn transitioned into a harsh winter, Mary, shaking with joy and anxiety, told him, "John, we're going to be parents." She expected joy, tears of happiness, a tight embrace, but in his dark brown eyes, which she loved so much, a cold, primal fear appeared. "Mary, I'm not ready. I don't have the right to drag you and a child into this. I need time." And he disappeared. No call, no explanation, no goodbye. Leaving her alone in the middle of winter, pregnant, blind, and heartbroken, Mary cried at night, so much that neighbors could hear the pain tearing her soul apart. Her green eyes, which could not see, still filled with tears of despair, but a new life was blossoming inside her, and that tiny spark gave her strength. The scene that brings tears. At the hospital, when she gave birth to her son, Bill, she couldn't see his face. She only felt his small weight on her chest, heard his first, thin cry. The nurse gently placed her hand on his tiny head, covered in black hair. "What color is his hair?" Mary asked quietly. "Black as pitch, Mary. And his eyes, they reflect the light that seems to come from you." Mary held her son close and cried from a painful, overwhelming happiness only a mother can feel. Bill became her purpose, her son in the darkness. He was proof that love was stronger than betrayal and pain. She raised him alone, working as a masseuse after maternity leave, and at night, she studied. A few years later, she enrolled in law school. She studied until dawn, brewed strong coffee to stay awake, and pushed forward, relying on the unbreakable strength her mother Ellen once possessed. During her second year, at a birthday celebration for a classmate in a small bar in downtown Oklahoma, Mary heard a voice that made her heart flutter like a captured bird. John stood in the doorway, and his dark brown eyes were filled with such guilt and sorrow that it was almost physically painful. "Mary, I've been looking for you for years. I was an idiot. I won't run anymore. I want to be part of your life if you'll let me. You and Bill." Mary was silent for so long that the quiet became unbearable. She took a deep breath and finally, almost a whisper, said, "It's going to be very hard. You left a wound in me, John." "I know," he replied softly, "but I'm ready to spend every day trying to heal it." They started all over again, cautiously and slowly, like two wounded people learning to walk. Every touch, every glance was a silent promise. John was patient and tender. He got to know Bill, played with him in the park, where they built fabulous cardboard forts, and read him books. Mary felt the pain of the past gradually melting away, leaving space for tenderness, passion, and deep trust. A year later, they moved in together. 2 years after that, they got married. The wedding was modest, among the snowy mountains of Aspen. Mary in her white dress looked like the sun rising over the peaks, and John couldn't take his eyes off her, as if afraid she would disappear again. 2 years after the wedding, Mary gave birth to their daughter, Emma, a fragile, bright girl with eyes that radiated wisdom and kindness, as if she knew her purpose was to bring light into others' lives. Emma quickly became the heart of the family, their little anchor. Mary and John enjoyed not only parenthood, but also the deep romance that flared between them like a bonfire. They whispered words of love to each other in the quiet nights, holding each other, feeling that life had finally become their shared, unshakable world. But the darkness of the past never forgets. Mary, now a successful lawyer, won a high-profile lawsuit against a large insurance corporation, exposing its corrupt schemes. The next morning, on her windowsill, lay John Blake's military dog tag, his personal identifier. John went pale, his face hardening into the mask of a tormented soldier. He whispered, barely suppressing his panic, "I thought that was long over. We ran classified, dirty missions, and one of them is connected to the people you just exposed. They know my name and yours, Mary. They didn't come for me, they came for our family." The family was in mortal danger. Unrelenting cars followed Bill on his way to college. Strangers loitered near the clinic where Emma had checkups. Shadows prowled beneath the house, and John's old comrades, whom he reached out to for help, were silent as the grave. One evening, Major Reed, John's former commanding officer, showed up. His face was gray with tension. "John, we need to talk. Your family is running out of time." Mary's accident wasn't an accident. His words were like a gunshot. It was part of a large-scale experiment scheme in which high-ranking officials who run this country were involved. "And now the truth that killed your mother, Ellen, is in your hands, Mary." They went to the abandoned parking lot, the very one where Mary first met John. Under the spotlight stood a figure in black, a woman with a stern face. "Mary, your accident was a warning to your mother, Ellen. They wanted her silence. You will continue her war. And don't think you can hide. The truth is in your hands now. If you publish it, you sign a death warrant for your whole family." John tightly grasped her hand. There was no fear in his eyes anymore, only determination and endless love. "We'll finish this together, darling. And we will win." Even under the threat of danger, love blossomed in their children's hearts. Bill, their firstborn, fell in love with Lillian, a talented, fearless journalist from New York. Their love was simultaneously passionate and intellectual, like a whirlwind. They spent nights not only in each other's arms, but also over documents, analyzing corruption schemes, and exchanging tender touches that strengthened their relationship. Every victory in their investigation gave them a sense of closeness and internal unity. They were a team where love was the weapon. Emma, their fragile daughter, met Andrew, an officer who had nearly lost his sight and was undergoing treatment. A quietly passionate, deep love, founded on empathy, arose between them. In the clinic corridors, they held hands, exchanged gazes filled with hope, and whispered words of support. Every touch was like a promise that light would always conquer darkness, even if you couldn't see it with your eyes. They went through surgeries, fear, and hope together, and their love blossomed quietly but strongly. Mary and John felt the past trying to interfere with their lives. At night, when the children were asleep, They talked about John's fears, about the secrets that could destroy the family, Mel, and how to protect them. And every conversation ended with a passionate, deep kiss that once again united their souls, giving them strength. Their family became a front against a dark, deeply entrenched system, but love made them stronger. Every intrigue, every danger only deepened their unity and revealed new, unknown facets of their feelings. Together, like an unyielding wall, they defeated the system, exposed the corruption schemes, ensured the safety of their children, and even managed to bring to light the truth about the experiments that had changed Mary's life and killed her mother. Mary, though blind, became the most important witness and whistleblower because she knew how to listen not only with her ears but with her heart, discerning the whisper of truth in the noise of lies. As Mary grew older, her soul shone even brighter than any darkness. She lived a long, happy life, full of love and struggle. The final scene that brings tears. One quiet night, in their house, filled with the scent of old wood and cinnamon, she fell asleep in John's arms, peacefully, gently. In the light of love they had created together, John lived 3 more years after her. He was gray-haired, but his eyes, which had found peace beside her, still glowed. Every day, he visited Mary's memorial. On the simple, elegant pedestal was inscribed, "She who cannot see with her eyes can see with her heart. She who sees with her heart changes the world." Mary Brooks Blake, Bill and Lillian, united by love and a desire for justice, continued their mother's work, creating a powerful foundation to help victims. Emma and Andrew, whose love emerged in the darkness, opened the best clinic for the visually impaired, giving others the hope they had found themselves. Each of them fell in love, survived danger, intrigue, and secrets, but their unwavering love and dedication to family helped them conquer the darkness. Because one day the darkness couldn't conquer the girl with black curls and green eyes. Because she didn't just find the light herself, she forced the darkness to speak and taught her children to do the same.